like I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring our guest down, have a little conversation with her about how she got her start and all that fun stuff, and then it'll be my pleasure to turn it over to you and your questions. Like I said, I'll jump over there, we'll start up the line and just all that stuff. And like I said, we're going to just take the questions to things done on screen and stuff like that. Anything going on off screen, any ancillary things going on right there, not going to take any questions on. So that being said, y'all ready for this?
Yeah!
It is my absolute pleasure to bring on the stage. She is an actress and former mixed martial arts competitor whose credits include, but are not limited to, and make some noise if I mention something you like, Command and Conquer, Red Alert 3. Woo! Yeah! Fast and the Furious 6. Woo! Daughter of the Wolf.
Woo!
Terror on the Prairie.
Yeah!
Haywire. Woo! Deadpool. Woo! The Mandalorian. Woo! GalaxyCon 2024, please welcome Gina Carano!
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Richmond. Oh, there's a bright light.
Yeah. Just early. Turn on lights a little bit, but anyway. Hey, welcome to Richmond.
Thank you.
So glad to have you
I've
here.
never been here before.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good food.
Good food. Oh, good. So where's good to go?
I know a few places, but local. I'm not local, so local.
Hey, what state?
War Bar. Tobacco Company.
Oh yes, the Gore Bar.
Twitter me. Or X me.
Room 210, Hilton.
Whoa, okay.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, what I'd like to do is, when I have a solo guest like yourself, sort of go back to the beginning. So let's share a little bit of the origin story, which would start with being interested in mixed martial arts. How did that begin?
I was in Las Vegas. I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and basically just headed down a really bad path. Drugs, alcohol, and just not in a good place. And then my boyfriend at the time walked into a mixed martial arts gym, and I followed him in, and I started training after him, and then I ended up being good at fighting because we were fighting up in Las Vegas since we were in high school. Like, I don't know how anybody avoided. I remember going out during the weekends and thinking, oh gosh, there's going to be a fight somehow, some way. And it's not because I'd pick them, it was because like I was very quiet, and I think that got misunderstood somehow. So once I started training Muay Thai, that all ended. I don't know what happens. I got more comfortable in myself, and I was like, oh.
Right on.
Yeah.
And had a very good career at that. At what point, were you always had a partial interest in acting? What point did you decide to pivot into acting?
You know, it's really funny when you're good at something. I think, like fighting, I was good at fighting. Everybody's like, when are you gonna go to Hollywood? And it's like that is just an option. It's really like a very few people actually make it into Hollywood, I think. And then, so I always thought in my head, well, if that's gonna happen with my life, then it'll probably be somebody special who has to come find me and dig me out of fighting. And that person ended up being Steven Soderbergh, and it was a very special someone, like a renowned, just incredible director who, I remember people on set back then were like, you're never gonna have another experience like this. So he was just such a professional.
He is one of the greats.
One of the greats.
Absolutely.
And then I went to Fast and Furious 6, and it was like, you know, baby oil, and like, you know, all of these people had like groups of people, and I'm just sitting in my chair alone, and like Tyrese came up to me and he's like, you need to get a group. He looked so sad just sitting there, and I'm like, I don't want a group, I like to just roll solo.
How did Deadpool come about?
Deadpool, they actually knew Tim Miller, the director, and I'd had a general, and a general is where you just go meet people and see if you fit for any of their projects. Well, him and Ryan did the teaser trailer, that took off, and then Tim was like, we want you for this Angel Dust character, which I think Angel Dust is just such a badass name, it's one of my favorites. So that was one of the funnest jobs I've ever done. It was like such good energy on the set, and like the comedy was just out of this world. Of course, it was all directed at me and Ed Skrein, which was the painful part. But it was just incredible to see like Ryan Reynolds and TJ Miller just riff, just like for like 5 minutes on me. But it was just like genius, like to see comedians and their line of work, which I think is like one of the hardest things to nail. They are just like, I've seen professionals do their work, and Ryan Reynolds is that.
All right, we have some Deadpool fans.
That was a fun job. Yeah. And you know, they didn't kill Angel Dust, so if you guys make enough noise on the internet, just hit Ryan Reynolds up and be like, you die. I'm just like floating in outer space over here, and somebody's like, you know, garage over here, just bring me out.
That's the great thing about comic book-based movies. It's completely bonkers, and anybody can be brought back no matter what the circumstances of their.
That's what I like to think. Yeah, we'll see about that. We shall see.
That's it. Stay tuned on that. We should probably acknowledge the Star Wars show. How'd you get involved in that?
Well, Cara Dune was my favorite character I've ever played. Between badass, but then you saw this like, you know, vulnerable side that you could relate to, and I just felt like she was so human, and I loved that. I related to her very much, and so Jon Favreau actually had me into the office, and my agents and managers at the time were like, we don't know why you're meeting him, but it's a good thing, and I was like, of course, it's a good thing. So I met him, brought him a bottle of wine, so I was a big fan. And he said, do you know why you're here? And I'm like, no. And he said, well, let me go show you. And he walked me through all of these characters of Star Wars and talked to me about the Mandalorian. And I thought I was going to be a Wookiee. I was like, I was like, if that was the job, I would do it, you know. And then they came to this woman who was just this badass soldier. And her face was like one of the only faces that could be seen in all of these characters. And I was like, it was just a surreal moment. He's like, this is who we want you to play. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is huge. My agent's gonna freak out. And it was just a surreal day.
One of the things I really adored about your character, as we discovered, that she was a survivor in Alderaan. And I just love that propulsion to it. And maybe you knew a little bit more about her backstory. I just envisioned her actually being almost like a plastic normal person, and then Alderaan gets destroyed, and then that fire fuels her into this machine that was, and then kind of lost, because when the Empire was gone, it was like her focus was, she's a little bit lost.
Yeah, and like very much me. It's like, actually very much me now, right? It's like the explosion happened and it got destroyed, and I'm kind of floating out here, and I feel like this, like, I have a special diamond and to this past and connection to such history, and then, but I'm still just like this, you know, floating on, going from planet to planet, and it's kind of, I mean, Cara Dune did this to my life. But no, it was really nice. Jon Favreau had such a, you know, he would just get like these like stars in his eyes when he would say Alderaan, and he made me feel like I had this special diamond in connection to that planet, and so it was very, very, very special, Cara Dune.
It was very special for us. And we have your back.
Yeah!
Welcome to the rebellion!
You guys made me, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
We appreciate you. We
Yeah.
really do. We really do. And wherever you go forward, okay, remember, we're fans of you. Okay?
Yep.
Not just the character. And that's what they've done. So we're excited and we're continuing to follow you. We're looking forward to all the projects and everything else. And thank you for your talents and thank you for your professionalism and thank you for the performances you brought to all these roles.
Yes.
For people like you, I wouldn't be sitting up here. I would be just, deserted. And so it was really because of the support of all of you collectively screaming your hearts out online, and all of that has just given me life again. So I appreciate it. I wouldn't have the opportunity I have right now if you didn't make every single one of your voices known. And it was like this roar, you can't just do this to people. And they heard it and they felt it for this moment in time. And it's been a pleasure, and I wouldn't have taken it back for the world.
All right, let's light it up. Again, working on just any production is fraught with some wackiness, but again, you've done a lot of special effects laden shows and things like that. So what's the craziest day you've had on any set?
Oh. Oh dear. There was some crazy early ones where you meet some actors who have substance abuse problems in the earlier days of my career on some indie, and it was intense. I think actors are artists and they're not perfect. None of us are, and they're trying. Some people get really social anxiety, so I think one of the craziest days on set was having to chase after an actor with this massive substance abuse problem, which, I've dealt with that plenty, and I understand everybody who has that, but trying to get the set done, and then, that exists, those stories exist in this realm, and so, yeah, chasing an actor through the woods, convincing him to come back to set. I think that was the craziest, which is probably not the answer anybody was expecting. But it does happen.
Well, thank you so much for indulging my capricious curiosity. I'm going to jump out to our audience and let's go ahead and take some of our audience questions.
Oh, this is fun.
Alright, well, so we'll go over here. Alright. Sorry, go down this way. Alright, who's first? We'll take this young lady. Yeah, come on. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Pepper.
Hi, Pepper, what do you want to ask?
I want to know, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part was Cara Dune. I loved her. What was your favorite part? Did you like Cara Dune too?
Yeah, she was one of my favorite characters.
Well, I appreciate that a lot coming from you.
Aww.
Maybe you could be Cara Dune someday too.
Hey, what's your name?
Jason.
What you got?
Gina, I'm only here today because of you. I have a wife and dogs and cats, and I'd rather be home in Cape Charles, but you did an interview with Patrick Bet-David recently, and it almost put me in tears because you said something. You said you felt like you're in a desert, and you're not. You're really not. There are so many, you have God, you've got your family, you've got your friends, but there are millions of people like me whose emotions go up and down with yours every day. We just don't have an ability to tell you unless we tweet it. So I'm leaving to go home after this. I just want to tell you that you're not alone. And we're on your side.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Neil.
What you got?
Hail, Gina Carano.
I like the shirt, sir.
And I have one question, and it is this. What is it like being Jay Drunk 3PO's bodyguard at conventions?
Well, so where is Jay?
Right here.
There he is. Jay. So it's really interesting because, all these outlets came and they were like, we want to interview you, and they're all like Fox News to CNN to all these things, and it's like, I want to speak with people. I want people to hear me, and I want to. So I saw Jay always hit me up. And so I decided, you know, this person has a gentle heart. I know he's always joking around, but he has a gentle heart. And so I decided to go on his YouTube channel. And since then, I mean, we're working together, and it's my deepest desire to make sure that these YouTubers that have been so disrespected for being the true critics of film and telling you the truth of how they feel. These people are the true fans, and not just some random movie reviewer who's been paid off by the producers. And so I have so much ultimate respect for YouTubers for not holding their tongue or being silenced and speaking the truth and freedom. And so, hail to the YouTubers. You're wearing an Neurotic shirt, which is awesome. Yeah, it's Neurotic and keeps
You didn't answer the question.
Jay's fabulous. And it's really hard. He's just such a lovable person. I don't even think he'll ever need a bodyguard. I'm excited for what he's got in his projects as well.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Eric. What was it like working with Michelle Rodriguez on Fast 6?
Oh, she is eccentric, and she's just out loud. I think me and her are very polar opposite personalities. You know, I feel like I'm a lot more introverted and shyer, and she's a lot more in your face and bold. But just absolutely awesome. I mean, I usually haven't worked with a lot of women, so it was fun. I always looked up to her, so it was fun to work next to her. And crazy.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Ian.
What you got?
Well, Gina, before I give you my question, I just wanted to give you another word of encouragement. I told you earlier, we've got your back. God's got your back. You know, there's this amazing scripture that always encourages me. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. That is what God has planned for you, and I believe it absolutely. My question for you is, now that you are getting more into the producer roles, is there anything like books or screenplays that you've read that are really interesting to you that you would want to do personally?
First of all, thank you for blessing me with that scripture. That is incredible, and I appreciate that. Second of all, I just changed up my team. I changed up management, and I'm working with this English gentleman called Rob Weston. And it's kind of like wiped the slate clean of everything that was being talked about or was talked about. I needed to, you know, start fresh. And so in starting fresh, there's been a full, just pouring out of projects and things. And we are actually working on something that is quite cool that I can't mention. And you don't want to mention until it's really, really active. But there's a couple different things with this new manager that I pushed the reset button on my career. It feels so good. So if I could give anybody advice, don't wait 15 years. You know, don't wait 15 years where you know you should have moved and you know you should have cleaned out your slate. You know, do it now. Clean out your slate now. Start now, because you know, had you done that 15 years ago, you might be in a different situation. And surround yourself with clean, good-hearted people, no matter where they're at in their career. Just make sure you can trust them, and that would be my piece of advice, what I would have done differently. But I'm glad to be where I'm at now, because now it's starting to roll.
Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Paul. So earlier in your career, you did the video game Red Alert 3, and so I was wondering how that came about and any fun stories about that experience.
They actually sponsored me for a fight, and then they said, I think they gave me some good money for a fight. I forget which fight it was. And then they were like, wow, she's nice to work with. Why don't you come out and do this? And I showed up on set, and they're like, you know, now you have to have a Russian accent. I was like, oh my, and I had no experience with that acting at that point, and it was just the funniest thing. And I think the reason why I've been successful in transferring in from athlete to actor is because I'm childlike, so I can humble myself in front of people and just embarrass myself, and you know, it was a blast. And I get people that come up to me and are like, wait, like Donald Cerrone from UFC, who's like, wait, you were in Red Alert 3? Like what? He's like, that was one of my favorites. So it's fun. I've been in this business now for a long time. That was the start.
Thank you. There's a red one, obviously. Hey, what's your name?
Palmer, and I just want to say, Gina, thank you for your role of Cara Dune, and thank you for everything you've done. God bless you, and I really do mean that. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
My question in regards to like Cara Dune, this is a little bit of a funny-ish question. Is there a character that Cara Dune has yet to encounter that you would like to see Cara Dune encounter? Or it could be like a crossover encounter, like for example, would you like to see Cara Dune encounter someone like the Punisher or something?
Oh, interesting question. Well, I always thought maybe like me and Bill Burr, his character could have gone off and gotten into some massive trouble. Me and Bill Burr's chemistry was so fun, and that we were butting heads on film, but in person we just loved. I mean, he texts me still. He's such a great person. So I was like, it would be so funny to see, Cara Dune and Bill's character just go off and just destroy each other and planets and just have to be stuck together. Like, I love that.
Cool. Thank you.
The Bill and Cara adventures.
Yes. What was Bill Burr? Does anybody know his character name?
Mayfield.
Mayfield. Thank you. So Cara Dune and Mayfield, the Destroying Planets edition.
Yeah.
Not on purpose.
What's your name?
My name's Darren, and my question is, have there ever been any moments when doing a film or a project where you go, oh my God, I'd rather have been back in the ring, this is terrible?
You may pass or play on that.
Wait, I would rather be back in where?
Something, any moment where you're doing filmmaking that you kind of thought, maybe I should have stayed in the ring.
No, I mean, it's hard, it's hard. Every day you walk away from set and you think, well, did I just make the biggest ass out of myself? Or someday, there's like 95% of the time you're like, oh my gosh. And then that 5% you walk away and you're like, I nailed it, I felt it, I got there. And it's like, that 5% is what you just are constantly striving for. And so, no, I think that you learn so much more through failure, and that drives you to be better. And if you keep an open heart and keep your heart just open, be a child, experiment. So you get knocked out by Cyborg, so you get fired by Disney. Like, I'm sitting here right now, we're okay. We can do this. I can have all of this happen to my life, and all of you guys have all of what's happened to your life. We can just keep walking forward through each door.
Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Hey, my name is Jason. I kind of got an inverted version of that question. How much of your MMA experience, especially like Amanda, you have some intense fight scenes, did that transfer over?
Oh, that's how I am in film, right? I just do action, and I make that look so real. And so I see some of these movies sometimes where people aren't making it look real, and I'm like, yeah. Could have made that look a little more real for you. And it could have been a better story because of that. So, it's all transferred over. Changing my life at 21 and doing mixed martial arts changed the rest of had I not walked into that gym and decided that, just followed my passion when my family was like, no, you're not going to go cage fighting, you're going to go to college. And I was like, I followed my heart, and it led me to such an incredible, interesting life. I love your outfit. Look at this outfit.
What is this character?
This is Alina from Barbie Mermaidia.
It's fabulous.
My name is Carissa Adams, and first I want to start by saying that you are one of my first biggest inspirations in terms of athletics, because I'm a weightlifter, been an athlete all my life. I trained in BJJ, MMA, all that. But in middle school, when Deadpool first came out, I was the only girl on my school's baseball team and had been going through so much bullying, all these rumors about me, because I wasn't built like your typical girl. I had a little more muscle on me, and seeing you as Angel Dust in Deadpool, seeing an actual muscular girl on screen just being awesome and so cool, I was screw everything everyone's saying.
Yeah.
I want to be her. She
Oh.
is awesome.
Well, just so you know, I mean, I went through the same thing in high school and middle school. It's like I had these big legs, you know, thunder thighs, you know, and I was just muscular. And my little sister, my older sister were these like smaller, boned, you know, pretty, beautiful girls. And it's like, it took me, and I fought through it. I also had this crazy, like, curly hair. And I just, you know, I think that my mom, she always used to say, it's not what it matters, what it says on the scale. It matters how you feel and how inside and how you look in the mirror. And I remember thinking, oh, that's so beautiful, until I started fighting and had to stop on the scale. And then I was like, Ma! That would have been good, but thank you, and you were beautiful.
Switch out.
So are you, Gina?
So in terms of a question, so I watched a lot of your MMA fights after I found out about you from Deadpool, and I wanted to know, when you found out you were going up against Chris Cyborg, what was your like internal reaction to that? Because she was kind of infamous at that time.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I just remember watching earlier videos of Cyborg, and she was just beating the hell out of everyone. And I remember thinking there was supposed to be this fight between Layla Ali earlier on, and I think her name was Christine Martin, or there was supposed to be this $1 million fight that I remember in my younger career that never happened. And I remember being always so disappointed that didn't happen. So when I was growing up in Muay Thai, it was just walk into a gym and fight whoever was there. And it wasn't that I felt, I'd only had, I believe 7 cage fights at the time, you know, and Chris Cyborg had been fighting a lot. You know, probably her record wasn't what it showed. And I knew I wasn't ready for that fight, but I knew that I needed to walk through it, and that's what the people wanted, and I needed to step up to it. So I didn't feel ready, but I did it anyways. And so I think that in life, like, even if you think you're gonna lose, does that make you stop? Does that make you stop doing what you're doing? And then sometimes it's not about your wins or losses, but the journey that you go through. And so that didn't go my way, but it wasn't gonna stop me from trying to fight that Goliath.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Gabby. My question was, like, first off, you're gorgeous. I think you're beautiful. And I know you specifically from Percy Jackson. Like, not a lot of people know you from that role, but I was like, I know her from The Mandalorian, but I'm like, I know her from something else. So I was searching, and I was like, that's where she's from. But my question is, who was your favorite co-star to work with, and why?
My favorite, oh gosh, that's really hard.
How about one of your favorites? We'll broaden it out a little bit.
Oh gosh, one of my favorites. Oof, that's really hard. That's so hard. Ooh.
Top 3.
Top 3. Okay. Giancarlo is absolutely incredible. Pedro, I absolutely love working with Pedro. And then, gosh.
Carl.
Ed Skrein from Deadpool, the bad guy in Deadpool. He was absolutely, we just connected, and he handled that back. So I didn't have a lot of words in that, but he handled the verbiage against these powerhouse comedians, and I thought, dang, this is my guy. I'm so proud to represent Ed. And so you've seen Ed Skrein's career just completely take off, and you just gotta love him. So I think those 3 come to mind. But I've always gotten along with everybody I work with.
Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
My name's Johnny.
What you got, Johnny?
I wanted to know what was your favorite time on the set with Grogu, or the Yoda puppet? Baby Yoda.
When he choked me. That's what you can take back.
We'll be in 5 hours.
Oh my gosh, how am I gonna work this? Okay. Okay. When he
Jedi mind tricking for me alone.
So when he, So when he choked me, it was really funny because we had to do a couple takes of it. And I was so into the moment that I passed out twice. Yeah. So I was sitting there, and I was sitting there, and then I was like, and I held my breath, and then I just passed out. And I remember coming to and looking up at Brendan, who was in, and he took off his, he's like, Gina, are you okay? And I'm like, I went out. I'm sorry, I went out. You get choked out in jiu-jitsu. It's like, okay, this happens, okay. So I was like, all right, that's not gonna happen again. So, and then it happened a second time, and I went out again. And then everybody came in, they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, I think it's the force. It's like, there's something about this little baby that is, it's working.
Oh, dedication.
Thank you.
Let's
follow through.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Trisha.
Thanks, Trisha. By the way, Trisha, amazing Battlestar Galactica cosplay you're rocking.
Amazing.
That's what I'm going to do. So we'll see you with James almost later. All right, lady. What you got?
I know you do mostly action. So are you wanting, or do you just enjoy doing action, or would you like to branch out and do something the opposite?
Oh, I'm an artist, and I feel like you get really pigeonholed sometimes. Well, I think it's been really hard for anyone to put me in a box at this stage of my life. So I think there's just going to be surprising new things that we're going to see from me in the future. I mean, I've always loved growing up, Pride and Prejudice was, oh my gosh, I just love that. Romantic drama, comedy. I mean, there's just so many different ways it can go, and I've let go of my thought that in order to make it in this business, I had to be what they wanted me to be, because they kicked me out. So now I'm like, well, now I'm going to be what I am, and I'm going to attract what I am, and it's going to be really cool. So it's really a lot of fun. I think we'll see some different sides. Thank you for the question. That was nice.
Hey, what's your name?
Tony Picetta. First, I want to say thank you so much for giving us a voice, and Godspeed, God bless.
Thank you.
My question is pertaining to your fighting career. Was there any particular fight that you were excited for or enjoyed training for? And in turn, were there any specific fighters you really enjoyed fighting?
It's kind of like movie making. Each fighter, you share this experience when that cage or that ring, when it locks, there becomes this very interesting moment where everything disappears, and then you're looking in the eyes of the person and you realize nothing's going to save us out there now. It's just me and you, and it's very intense, real look into another person's eyes, and I crave that. I crave that kind of interaction when you don't always get that when you're acting, but sometimes you do. But I really enjoyed all of it because you get to, in those moments, in those fights, you get to feel another person's soul at such a authentic, real space, and I crave those kinds of interactions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
Antonio?
What you got, Antonio?
So I wanted to know, what was the most interesting fighter you worked with or seeing in the UFC when you got there?
In the UFC? Well, I didn't actually fight in the UFC because that came after me, but I opened those doors. I was a part of opening those doors. But some of my favorite, the people that I worked with were all Muay Thai guys, We were just this gang of Muay Thai people from Las Vegas that nobody really knew that were really good because we learned from the Thai masters themselves straight from Thailand. And so my favorite fighters are always the people that I put blood, sweat, and tears in, who, they beat the crap out of me multiple times, and sometimes I gave it back, and it was my team that are my favorite, and they're all these Muay Thai guys with just tatted up, and, some of the most badass people I've ever met in my life are my Muay Thai gang.
Cool, there you go, thank you. All right, we'll finish up there. Come on, you're good. What's your name?
My name is Lisa. Hi, nice to meet you. Love you. You're amazing. I'm sorry what happened. I don't mean to end this on a somber note, but we recently lost Carl, and he was my favorite. Is there anything you'd like to share with us? Something special that you had, or what you did during you know, Mandalorian or any other time. He's a great athlete. You're a great athlete. So I just wonder if there's anything you need to share with him.
This is an emotional one.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think that Carl was so incredible. His voice boomed, and you know, I'd be able to stand next to him in this big, we called it the volume, and his voice would carry through the volume. And I used to think, you know, he might struggle with, you know, the same things that I struggle with, but when he nailed it, he just nailed it, and he and we had that special bond of athlete and actor, and he was just powerful in the spirit. And even though we didn't agree on everything on the end, you know, we were still able to cordially just adore and love each other. And he became a mentor in that second season. I remember it was really funny. I had this fight scene, and it was a little bit chaotic that day, and he was always, you know, trying to pull it out of me, you know. And so finally I went up to him and I gave him what he was looking for, but to him. And we had this moment, and he was like, and I was like, oh God, this is gonna go bad. You know, because I never do that, but I you know, the frustration, I had to talk directly to him about this problem we were having. And he was like, yes, that's what I mean. Now go do that. Use that, but not at me. He's like, use that energy. And I was like, okay. And you know, it was exactly what I needed. So he came off like, you know, tough, but there was this soft underbelly. And he did tell me one thing: make sure you're a part of something big every decade, and you'll have a long career. And I want to say, God rest his soul. He is very missed. And I think we'll always remember what a powerhouse he was, and I feel like his career is just taken off again, and I'll miss him very dearly.
As we all know.
Thank you. All right, time for one more question.
Hey Gina, big fan. Mike Tyson has come out of retirement to fight one last fight. Is it true that you might come out of retirement and fight Ronda Rousey one last time? Big fan. Thank you so much for your time.
Actually, I have to tell you the truth. Jay. He's gonna be my fight promoter. He's my hype man. He's gonna be back of me. You know, I need to get my body to a place where I feel really good, and that's in general. You know, I think with the stress of the last 4 years, you know, I need to get healthier, and it never hurts running on a treadmill and lifting weights, so it's like kicking someone in the head in your mind. It's always very, very helpful. And I have to say, with Mike Tyson coming out, you know, you just kind of think, hey, if he can still do it, why couldn't I? I do have to say, you know, as we all know, I think, you know, getting older, you just like it's a harder, your mind and your spirit get better, but your body kind of struggles. And it's not that we have to, like, you know, let go. We just have to figure out new ways to work it. And I'm in the process of healing. I think with the Disney thing, I was carrying around a lot of shame, and sometimes you just can see that on your body. You're just, you know, shame and like, oh, I failed. And I think that with this new thing that's happening with me now, I'm letting go of that. That wasn't my fault, and I can let go of it. Most important, you know, my mind and my spirit are in such a good place, and so now my body is going to follow that direction, no matter how long that takes. So you just never really know, Jay.
Hi, Gina. I have a final question. Is there anything on your docket or any projects coming up that you may be allowed to share with us?
There's nothing I'm allowed to share. Me and my manager have gotten just this. My new manager. He's very new, like as in like 2 weeks. have just gotten all of this really interesting phone calls and emails that have been coming in. And so we're sifting through them, and we do have a project that I think is going to be very, very cool. A series that we're looking at and developing. So it's my focus. It's everything that I'm doing. I think that'll be my real comeback is when I have that pilot shot, and I'm ready to go and share more with you guys. This year I've been making the rounds, and what happened with Elon Musk is wonderful. He's had my back, and to me because I felt like I was getting forgotten, and so now I'm getting a lot of FaceTime with you guys, which is so important, and it fills my soul up more than you could ever understand. But there's going to be a creative spot where I have to disappear and really kind of get busy, and so that's where I'm headed, and I'm going to make you proud, I promise.
We're going to invite everybody to come towards the stage, not on the stage.